This episode is brought to you by Americas Rehab Campus. Get on the road to recovery with the best rehab in beautiful Arizona. Dial 1-833-272-7342. That's 1-833-ARC-REHAB.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in to the ARCast.
That's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the ARCast. It's your man Buddha right here.
Matt Shetler
Yes,
right
sir.
here.
What's going on, Matt? Long time no see, brother.
I know. I'm back in the saddle, buddy. I'm back.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Hey, man, and today we got two special guests. The first one that we have is a fill-in guest. He's our homeboy. He's with our quality and risk department doing compliance. Give it up for our friend, Dustin. What's going on, Dustin?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. That's what's up. But I got something for you, Matt. I wanted to share, and I wanted to get your reaction live right here real quick. So, Vance just came back from a church in Colorado. I guess he was out there sharing his testimony. Thrive Church. Shout out to Thrive Church out in Denver. And one of the gentlemen there made Vance something, and Vance got it for you, brother. So I wanted to give it to you. Here we go.
Oh, what do we got here? Oh, no way.
Look at that.
Nice.
This thing is sick.
Isn't that badass, dude?
Yeah, right here, there's a Broncos head made out of granite or marble. And it says, to Matt from Vance Johnson, number 82, Denver Broncos. How sick is that, man?
That's
Vance
cool, huh?
is awesome. He
Yeah,
always
man,
is
check that
doing
out.
stuff for me.
Yeah, shout out to Vance. You know, we'll make sure to take some pictures of it and post it on the show notes. Anybody want to check out the pictures, man.
Really cool stuff. Appreciate you, Vance. Always do, buddy.
And next, our second guest, I wanted to, show some love to one of Matt's homeboys. I guess you grew up with this gentleman, right? It's one of your homies.
No,
right
I
here?
didn't grow up with Johnny, but we've known Johnny for quite a long time. About
Johnny. All right, man. Hey, shout out to Johnny. Thank you for joining us on the ARCast today.
What's going on, Buddha? What's happening, man?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you feeling?
I am feeling good.
Yeah?
Real good. I was actually just in Colorado. Just flew back in on Saturday.
Well, thank you for joining us here, man. It's a pleasure to have you. It's a pleasure to have everyone in here. It's a different little environment. I'm loving it, man. It's going to be cool.
Dude, long-time listener, first-time caller. This is my first time here, so we're going to see how it goes. You know?
Heck yeah, for sure. What typically happens here on the ARCast is we bring different people in from all different walks of life, right? Sharing their testimonies about, the things that they've been through and the trials, the tribulations, and where they're at now in their life. So if you wouldn't mind, man, share with the world a little bit about how you grew up and all of your experiences.
So Arizona native, grew up out here in Arizona, not in Tucson and not in Phoenix. So for those of you that know, there's a little offshoot next to Phoenix called Mesa. Born and raised in Mesa, man. Grew up out there, did a lot of really dumb stuff out there, man. Hooked up with a lot of, I don't want to say bad people, right? Product of my environment, product of circumstances, stuff like that, right? So I made a lot of friends out there, made a lot of good friends, but also made a lot of friends that were kind of on the, on the sketch side. Moved around a little bit, went to Florence for a while, man. Graduated in Florence, not the prison, the high school.
I was going to say, were you on the yard?
No yard, no yard for me, thank God. But spent a little time in Florence and kind of got away from Mesa. But let's be honest, man, sometimes the lifestyle is just as addicting as everything else, right?
Yeah.
So went back, man, Phoenix, Mesa, still in Mesa, man.
So real quick, how old were you when you started dabbling in drugs and things like that?
So I'm Mexican. I don't know if you can tell.
Really?
I can tell, bro.
You are?
I'm Mexican.
That's what's up, fool.
That's right. That's right.
No way. I'm lost.
So I had my first beer when I was 8 with my dad and my uncles, right? That's just kind of, that's the norm.
Mijito, go get me a beer out of the fridge.
Yeah. Not even, bro. This is back in the day when we would, it felt like it wasn't as hot back then as it is now. So we would we'd be chilling in the backyard with an ice chest full of oysters, sal, chile, limon,
Dang.
right?
All right.
Shucking oysters, drinking beer. And I remember this vividly, bro, because it was my first beer and it was the first time that I felt like, yo, man, I'm a part of, right?
Yeah.
Like my tios are there, my dad's there, everybody's drinking, partying, kicking back, right? Nothing crazy. But I grew up seeing this stuff, right?
Yeah.
the men drink, the men hang out, the men do this, the men do that, right?
Oh, yeah.
That machismo shit. So the first time I had a drink was when I was 8, bro. And it was like the first moment where I was actually like, oh, damn, like I belong now.
I made it
Right?
to
Like
the
I'm,
table.
I made it, right?
Man.
And then we left Mesa, right? I was 8, and my neighbor dabbled in smoking weed, this and the other. I never smoked, man, but I would drink every now and then. We'd steal beers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then we moved to like the Florence area, man, and there ain't nothing out there. And for whatever reason, man, I got hooked up with somebody that was a lot older than I was, right? And he would go and buy beer, beers, liquor, this, that, and the other. By the time I hit 8th grade, I was going to school every day with a fifth in my backpack.
Dang.
You know what I mean?
How old were you in it?
13.
Grade? Oh,
I was 13 years old, bro.
Wow.
Uh,
You still weren't smoking or nothing at this time?
I was.
Yeah.
Right. Like here's the weird thing, man. Like I don't like getting high on weed.
second that.
Yeah, man. Like I know so many people are like, oh, you haven't tried the right strains. Like, nah, man, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
Right. I like drinking. I like to drink, man, because I got more chill back, loosened up a little bit. Right. I used to get that same feeling from back in the day that like, I belong, homie.
Yeah.
You know, like this is it. This is where. And I was that cat where it's like, because I drank, people want to drink.
Yeah.
Right. So then I became that dude that everybody's like, hey, man, let's go drink. Because they knew I was always fucked up.
You got funner every time you drank.
right.
Down.
Yep.
Right, man. So that in itself became part of the addiction, right? The lifestyle.
Yeah.
The money, the respect, right? Well, it turned into that later on. But even at 13, you know what I mean? Like even before high school, bro, I was like, right here, man.
Yeah.
Like people need me, right? That mentality that like people need me. I was the one that could get the booze. I was the one that could get them fucked up. So, fast forward a little bit, man. And then I started dabbling in some other stuff, right? My uncle's got coke, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And then at like, right, this wasn't in like a long period of time either, bro. Like from like 13 to 16 maybe, right? Like I was already dabbling in a bunch of stuff. Mind you, I'm drinking all the time. I'm still playing sports, still doing, still going to school, doing all that stuff. But I got hurt wrestling, and I wrestled since I was in 7th grade.
Wow. Okay.
Right? I got hurt. They put me on Percocet because I cracked a rib at 16, bro. I got put on Percocet, right? And I started taking, I take one because it hurt.
Yeah.
And then I realized I didn't drink. I didn't need to drink as much. And then I was like, yo, dude, this feels pretty good.
Wow.
And then I take 2 and then 3. And then before you know it, I wasn't drinking no more. I was just popping pills.
Wow.
Buying oxys, buying Percocets.
And how old are you at this point?
Like 16.
About 16?
Yeah, 16, had a hardcore like opiate addiction at 16 years old,
Man.
right?
Any siblings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a sister who's 16 years older than I am, and then I got a brother who's 5 years younger than me.
And did any of them kind of pick up on that things were changing with you at this time?
My sister has been living her life for a long time now, right? We're still close and stuff like that, but like she went around. She's 16 years older than I am, man. When I had 16, she's like 30 something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
My brother, us being 5 years apart, didn't really spend a whole lot of time together, right?
Because you're 16, he's 10.
I'm 16, he's 11. You know what I mean? He's still caught up in playing video games, the Nintendo 64, and eating candy.
I feel you.
You know what I mean? Like that was it. That was his stuff. Playing computer games and stuff while I was out running amok.
Were you still living in Florence?
Yeah.
Yep.
Still living in Florence, man. Dropped out of high school, right? Went back to high school. Only did like, and this is what I'm talking about. Like I was still doing school, bro. I dropped out of high school for a year, and when I came back the following year, like I was still caught up. I was already like ahead. You know what I mean?
Wow.
The issue is when I came back, I didn't want to do nothing no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it came time to graduate and to walk or whatever, I walked with like 100 people, man. It was a small high school. And they were like, you're not graduating. I had missed like 30 days absent. You know what I mean?
Man.
And
Bringing back memories, dude.
and probably more than 30, dude. And then I didn't have 3 mandatory credits, right? Like I was missing 2 elective credits just because I didn't show up. I still graduated. The only reason being is because the school was so small. If they failed anybody, it messed with their money.
Yeah, they're funding.
Their funding.
Wow.
So me and like 4 or 5 other dudes that were not supposed to graduate all of us walked.
Dang, that's cold to think that I didn't even think about that. A school could be go through that. That's nuts.
Yeah, man, because it's so small, you know what I mean? Any 1 or 2 people that don't make it, man, that makes a huge difference. Compared to a bigger school that has like hundreds of people, you know what I mean? For a graduating class, you fail 1 or 2 people. It's just like, oh, okay.
So what type of crowd were you running with down there?
So a lot of alcoholics, bro.
Yeah.
And drug addicts. You know what I mean? A lot of grimy people. Some native cats, some Mexican cats, and some white dudes, right?
Yeah.
The thing that we had in common was that we like to party, bro. Party, you know, and to excess.
Yeah.
You know, that was the thing, right? And then you know, back to the family thing, man. Like, crazy thing is, my dad's side, doctors, business owners, engineers, right?
Okay.
That's on my dad's side. Everybody on my mom's side, dog. Everybody, tiradores. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's caught.
What's that?
Everybody sells.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Troublemakers.
Everybody's linked up with somebody.
Affiliated,
In Mexico with one place or the other. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
a lot of movement, a lot of moving.
Were you close with your dad's side and your mom's side, or did you grow up around?
More my mom's side.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my mom's family's like
Stayed.
either in Arizona or in Sonora. So back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody on my dad's side is in Jalisco, which is like, it's far. So I didn't get to see them very often, you know? If we drive, it's a 2-day drive to get to go see my dad's family. My mom's family is like, you know, right down the street, you know, 4-hour drive this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Close.
Close, real close. So I got all my cousins in either, you know, prison. I got uncles in prison. I got uncles in prison, you know, in Florence. I got uncles in prison in Mexico. I got, you know, everybody is all over the place. Boom, boom, boom. So that's the kind of family mentality I had, because that's what I saw.
And it was okay.
And it was all right. Yeah. You know, it was all right. I got a cousin that disappeared, man. You know, missing person. Nobody ever knows what happened to him. Got another cousin that got, you know, they found him decapitated in a riverbed in Nogales.
That's crazy.
Like, just, you know.
That's scary. And so did you have your mom and your dad in your life, both of them?
I did, man, up until we were 18.
Up until 18.
Yeah. At 18, they, you know, the 4 or 5 years leading up to that was just like chaos at home, bro. Pa, 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 pa. My dad's real chill. Doesn't say very much, you know, doesn't get mad like that. My mom is vindictive. Bro. She will bring the wrath of hell and just make you feel it, you know?
Yeah.
So being at home and being in a weird environment like that, man, just my dad taking it, my mom just boom, boom, boom for a couple of years, you know, I was like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be here. Plenty of times, bro, because my nephew would stay with us too. And this is how you know I'm Mexican. My nephew's 3 years younger than me. My little brother's 5 years younger than me.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my little brother is younger than his nephew.
Yeah.
So
I got Theos that I'm older than.
yeah, bro, exactly. So it's like, you know, my sister's, I love my sister, but you know, she's not drug addict. You know what I mean? She doesn't, she's not alcoholic. She just has a hard time sometimes, you know what I mean? So we would take care of my nephew but plenty of times, you know, things would pop off at home, and you know, being 16, having a driver's license, I'm like, hey, get in the car, we're leaving.
Yeah.
You know, and I take my little brother and my nephew and we dip out.
And it's crazy to think too, because like if your parents were going through this turmoil, it's really hard for them to probably even pay attention to what you're doing too, because they're, you know.
Yeah, they didn't know. I've had them call the cops on me because I show up drunk, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they were just like, yeah, I was the least of their worries in that moment.
Yeah.
So
let's fast forward to your older years after high school. What ended up happening after that?
Well, I took a page from my family's book and got connected and started, you know.
Travesuras.
Yeah, man. I don't know if I could say this, but I was me and like 1 or 2 other dudes, man, took a big part in flooding a community with drugs, you know, like a new drug, and it became I look back at it now, man, and I see what's going on, and I'm just like, fuck, like it hurts, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, dude, I feel like I was responsible for it because me and 2 other homeboys were dumb, you know, and young, and we're like, hey, man,
Making money.
We're already in this, like, who cares, you know? We got a bunch of our homies addicted. We got a bunch of other people addicted. Last week, I was talking to somebody, and they told me that 5 people overdosed and died in that community the week prior. And I'm just like, man, you know,
Brings back memories.
yeah, it sucks, bro. And it's like, I got to think about it like, hey, man, people are going to do what they're going to do, right? Like, I'm not responsible for it. But a part of me is like, man, like, what would it have been like if I didn't do that?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'm a firm believer in, like, too, it's not where you're from, it's where you at and when you're going to go next, you know?
Right.
So as long as you're at that different state of mind now, you know, so you started growing up, you know, doing whatever it is that you did. When did sobriety come into your head?
So check it out. I am good at making people not know what I'm doing.
Okay.
Right? So hardcore drug addiction, right? I'm shooting heroin every day, 3 times a day, minimum. Selling dope, right? Same time, at 23, start a business, right?
Okay.
Which I still have, which I still run today,
That's good.
right? Get married, have children, right? I meet my lady at 23, complete drug addict. She's never done drugs, barely ever drank, like just complete normal person, right? We have a baby, we have a daughter together, right?
Mhm.
Then I go to jail. Boom.
How did you meet her, if you don't mind me asking?
I used to sell dope out of the restaurant she worked at.
Okay.
Dessert.
Yeah. And she hated me, bro. She was like, why do you come in here? And I'm like, I'm just here to buy food.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like meeting people in the bathroom and handing off, handing off product and this and that. And she had no idea because she's never been like
Exposed to that.
Yeah, exposed to it, you know? So like it was real easy for me to just like not even hide it, man. She just didn't ask questions, didn't know. So it was just like, hey man, hey, I gotta go see somebody real quick.
Yeah.
But I do all this and then I go to jail. Boom. I finally get caught. I knew I was gonna get caught because like if you're doing this kind of stuff, man, like you're gonna get caught.
It's inevitable.
Yeah. Like if you think you're untouchable, man, like that's your
when
first
it comes
mistake.
crashing down.
Yeah. They got me with operating a crime syndicate and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Luckily, I got a good lawyer. A lot of stuff got dropped. I did 6 months in the tents, man, which was horrible. Horrible.
What is that for people who don't know?
Oh, so the tents is it's a jail that used to be around. It's not around no more.
Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
Sheriff Joe
Oh, yeah.
Arpaio.
Tent City.
Tent City. If you want to know more about Tent City, look it up. It is
Oh man.
it got shut down for being inhumane, man.
Summertime.
It's just a bunch of tents out in a dirt field.
Like the
basically.
fire festival.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Burning Man.
Horrible, man. Horrible place to be. But I did 6 months, got out, no prison time. Thank God, right? Like
How did you manage that? I know some of your charges.
I did not manage it. My lawyer did. God does for me what I cannot do for myself,
Absolutely.
man.
Amen.
It was one of those wake ups, right?
And it was one of those wake ups, man. And I tried real hard to step away, right?
Yeah.
Addiction doesn't work that way in my life,
So
man.
how old were you when you got locked up the first time?
So I was 24 when I got locked up. And like the good person that I am, I work the system. I'm on probation. I go, oh, my back hurts. I need to go see pain management doctor now.
Oh.
And what happens is I go and I get a script. And then after, doing my UAs and this and that and showing them that the proper paperwork, right? I'm like, I'm just going to start doing heroin again.
Wow.
And yeah, it worked, man. I worked. I'd go pee and I'd pee dirty. And I'm just like, no, well, I'm on pills,
Dang.
Here's my prescription.
Yep.
And I did it, dude. I went through the whole probation period, man. I was on probation for supposed to be 3 years. Ended up being like almost 4.5, 5 years because I just kept slacking the whole time.
So at this point in your life, like, you said that the girl that you were with at the time was naive to a lot of this. Did she starting to understand what was going on?
She did.
Yeah.
She did understand what was going on. You know what I mean? But I was really good at hiding it again. You know what I mean? I was like, well, don't worry about it. Like, I'm taking them how the doctor's telling me to take them and this and that. Like, you can hold on to my pills while I got a bunch of dope in my pocket, like, here, you can give me my pills, so that way, I'm taking them how I'm supposed to.
Yeah, we're very brilliant, manipulative people, right?
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm a businessman, dude. I know how to do my business transactions. You know what I mean?
In the podcast, I like to promote your business. That's at the end.
That's funny.
But and boom, dude, I fall into more drugs, man. I started doing meth for a minute.
Wow.
And
Completely opposite.
completely opposite. Check it out, man. I managed my life pretty well while I was doing opiates, right? business, married, kids, jail time, you know, consequences, whatever. But like, it wasn't bad per se, right?
Yeah.
Not bad. I wouldn't consider it bad. Most people would be like, that's horrible. I'm like, I don't think it was that bad, man. But then I started doing G, right? And within 3 years, man, I burnt everything to the ground.
That's crazy. This is your first time messing with amphetamines?
Yeah, I've done them before in the past on accident. You know what I mean? One of the homeboys was like, "Hey, man, hit this," and I didn't know what it was.
Oh no, not that one.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
crazy.
at that point, he was like, "Hey, hit this," and I was just like, "Cool, yeah, for sure."
Free for sure.
Never asked, didn't figure out, you know. And then later, he was like, "Oh, that was G," you know. But I was like, I don't feel nothing.
That's crazy.
And then at was I like 26, 25, 26, I started dabbling with G and meth. And
And your child was born at this point already?
yeah, so my daughter was about 3,
Okay.
you know. Got my wife pregnant again, right? Right before I got sober. Mind you, I'm bipolar, man. So like I take drugs to self-medicate,
Yeah.
right? And been in and out of psych wards, man. Suicide attempts, complete psychosis, you know, homicidal, suicidal, all that stuff. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
But finally hit a breaking point, right? I'm sitting in the bathtub. A couple months before I got sober, I was so strung out. I got out of my car and I had bought, just on a dumb whim, bought like this 67 Thunderbird.
Oh, dang.
And dope ass car, man. And it was in decent shape, right? What I didn't know, and I only found this out because somebody told me, is that they have like faulty shift linkages. So if you leave it idling, it'll downshift into reverse on its own.
Oh, wow.
I got ran over by my own car and dragged 40 feet, dog. Spun out. And I've been in really bad situations before, right? Guns, knives, this, that, and the other.
That is
It was
crazy.
the first time in my life, bro, that I was like, this is how it is. I'm never going to see my son be born. Because it wasn't
God.
because it wasn't somebody else doing it to me. Like in that moment, I was like, this is God taking me out.
Wow.
I was like, this is it. And then I got this, I'm high on G, man. I got this crazy urge of adrenaline, man. And I just grabbed myself and just went, boom. And I see the tire drive by my head, dude. And it's like 2:30 in the afternoon. Busy intersection. There's cars everywhere, bro.
Were you parked somewhere? Like, where were you at?
I had just rear-ended a car.
Oh, my God.
And I got out of my car
Look at it.
because I rear-ended this dude. And then I got ran over
That's
By your own
crazy.
car.
by my own car, dude.
Wow.
You sure it wasn't the wife in there?
Oh, man, I wish, because
yourself.
then I could have blamed somebody, you know?
Oh, man.
The car dragged me 40 feet, didn't hit another car
To that intersection.
through that intersection,
Wow.
hit a wall and a light post.
Can you imagine what that person was thinking that you hit? Like, what the hell is going on?
Check this out, though, man. There was not one scratch on the light post. There was not one scratch on the wall. And that's where the car was stuck in, right? My door, I still have the car at my shop today. to this day, bro, I still have that car and I look at it and I'm just like, damn, man. Like that was the moment where I was like, this is it. But my car was destroyed, bro. Destroyed. I got pictures on my phone. I'll show you.
Yeah, maybe we can share a couple of them.
Destroyed. Didn't hit nobody else. Hit a wall and a post. Did not leave one mark anywhere. The police showed up. The fire department showed up. The ambulance showed up. They checked me out. They were like, what happened? And I'm like, I don't know. You know, I'm freaking out all high. And they're like, are you intoxicated? I'm like, I almost just died. We're like, you know, I had just got the car. No title. No registration. No insurance.
Oh, man.
What do you know?
You know what happened, bro? They let me call a tow truck and tow it to my shop. I didn't get a ticket. I didn't go to the hospital. I walked away with just road rash on my back.
Wow.
That's nuts.
That was it.
Lucky.
And I still didn't get sober after that, bro.
I was gonna say that wasn't the wake.
That wasn't it.
It's a pretty good one.
No, but then it put me in this whole like panic, right? Like boom, boom, like I couldn't sleep, like just crazy, manic, you know, boom. And then I find myself sitting in the bathtub, crying my eyes out with an extension cord plugged in, a shot of dope, my pipe, just crying and being like, why can't I stop?
Yeah.
About to kill myself for like the third time.
Now,
You
let
know what
me
I
ask
mean?
You this: did you have up to that date any kind of knowledge of what treatment or the program is?
So check this out, bro. I grew up in the hood,
Yeah.
right? Which I still live in to this day. I'm one of those guys, man. I live in the house I grew up in, right? At 28 years old, I had never met anybody in my life that had ever gotten sober before
Wow.
or ever stopped using drugs. Everybody I knew up until that point either died or went to prison. I did not know that people got sober.
Yep.
At 28 years old,
Dang, man.
I see like, movies and stuff like that, right? And I'm just like, yeah, well, I don't know what that is, right? Or I hear about rehab and I'm just like, what's rehab, right? I see like commercials on TV and I'm just like,
I'm gonna rehab that new hip I got put in.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what you-
you know what I mean? Like I didn't know about none of this stuff, bro. I didn't know people got out.
Yeah, the only knowledge I had before my first time ever was it's a bunch of old white guys sitting at a table
Right.
smoking cigarettes talking about drinking.
And
That
that's
was it.
And that's what I see on TV. Like I see in movies a bunch of old people chilling in a room smoking cigarettes, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, first of all, I'm not white, right? That's the mentality I had back then.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't white. I can't do that. And for whatever reason, bro, I freaked out and I was like, I need help. And like a good addict, I reached out to my mom and I'm like, Mom, I need help. And she's like, I'm gonna call your brother and your sister and we're gonna figure this out. And they get over to her house and I go over there, and I'm like, I'm a drug addict. I don't know what to do. I need help. And they just looked at me, bro. They just stared at me like,
And
Yeah.
right.
Like,
And
what are you gonna do?
Dude, I don't know why, man, but I got so mad.
You know why? Because you put yourself out there, like butt naked, standing on the bench at lunch in high school, right in front of everybody, so vulnerable and everything, and they just sat there.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, what the fuck?
I slammed the door, bah, and I got on my phone and I go, rehab, right? Don't know which one, don't know where, just rehab. And I found one where the dude rides a motorcycle. That's it. He's like, I enjoy riding Harleys. And I'm like, oh shit, fuck, cool, me too. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I reached out or whatever, man, and I fell into this rehab center and I got introduced to, 12-step recovery program, Cocaine Anonymous. What did it for me, bro? And I just seen this dude at the convention over the weekend. I flew into Colorado. I flew in from Colorado Saturday at 4:40, had my little homie pick me up, went home, showered, and drove straight to Cocaine Anonymous Arizona convention.
Wow.
I see my homie there, right? The second day I'm in this treatment center, they take us to a meeting. One of the dudes that I used to sell dope to is at this meeting. And I'm like, what are you doing here, bro? You know what I mean? It took me a minute to figure out who he was because he looked different.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, man, I've been doing this for 3 years now. I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean 3 years? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, I've been coming to meetings for 3 years. This dude had 3 years sober. I hadn't seen him in like 4 or 5. You know what I mean? And
you still didn't know like where he was from. You're still trying to process.
no, I knew. Dude's name is Steve.
Okay.
Dude from the East Coast.
But you're like, damn, this guy could do it.
I used to shoot up with this dude in my car. I used to sell him sacks of dope, big sacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is the first time in my life that I personally knew somebody that was not getting high, that I know for a fact was getting high like I did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that hope kicks in, right?
Dude, I was just like, and it took me a couple days after that to process. Like,
Wow.
is this for reals?
Twilight Zone.
I was like, what? This dude is the same dude I would meet at the restaurant my wife worked at
Wow.
and I would sell dope to.
Wow.
Full circle.
Full circle. It was this dude. There was only 2 people I would meet at that specific spot. And this was one of them.
Man, that's crazy.
So Rafi wasn't born yet.
So Rafi's was not born yet when I got sober.
Okay.
So my son is 4 years old now. He was born right after I got sober. So my son has never seen me high.
That's beautiful, man.
Has never seen me with a drink in my hand. Has never seen me acting out of character. Has never seen me violent. Has never seen me crazy. He's chilling upstairs right now.
That's cool.
And boom, bro, like that, right? I was very violently anti-religious when I came in, bro. So words like God and this and that and religion, I was like, I'll fight you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's how I came into this thing. But again, man, for whatever reason, I was just like, whatever, man. I can't do this no more. I can't. Like, someone's gonna kill me, or I'm gonna kill myself,
Yeah.
and that's all there is to it. And
So when you came in for that second time and met the guy, Steve, saw that guy, did you have a sponsor then?
I did it.
Okay.
That's when I was like, because he said you should get a sponsor and do the steps. So like a couple days after that, I was like, oh yeah, he said something about calling somebody and doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when I called somebody, and they were like, hey, I can't sponsor you. Let me give you somebody's phone number. And then I called this dude, and he became my sponsor, Murray.
That's cool.
And when
He was a sponsor of mine too back in the day.
Yeah.
Great dude.
when Murray showed up, I still remember what he looked like when he showed up. Big white dude, super tiny purple running shorts, a white T-shirt, and dip in a Cadillac Escalade, like the ones like the Avalanches.
That's great.
That's what he pulled up in, man. And I took one look at this guy, and I was like, the fuck is this guy gonna do to help me, man? Like, this dude don't know nothing about what I've been through.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I was just like, whatever. I don't care. I don't care at this point. Just whatever. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah. That's crazy. And when you initially checked into the rehab, were you one? Like, you just went one time and you found sobriety?
So I'm one of those dudes, man, that I was just like, look, dude, I'm legitimately, if I go back, right there, they're like, oh, if you go back, you might not make it back to, you might die or this or that. Like, in my head, I know 100% if I go back, I am gonna die.
Man.
It might not be the drugs, man. There's a good possibility it's not even the drugs that take me out. Somebody else will. I can't go back to the life I lived without running the risk of dying.
Yeah.
I can't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like when I came in, right? Just like when I was out in the streets, man, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, right?
In what year was this?
17.
17.
Like when I go in, bro, I go all in, right? Just like any good drug addict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find that's a hard balance? Trying to, because we don't get sober, and we've had this conversation before, right? You see a lot of people, well, if you're not going to 3 meetings a day, and you're not having all these service commitments, yada, yada, you're not going to stay sober, right? In the meantime, you have a wife at home, 2 kids at home, you have a business, you get sober to be a better human being, right? Which in turn is to spend time with your family, your kids, be present.
So
did you have a hard time with that?
in the beginning, yes, and it did cause some problems, right, in my relationship because she didn't understand, right? She tried to, but like I get it, right? I get her point of view. Like, well, you got sober, stay home.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But like I was like, no, I need this.
Yeah.
Like this is my dope now. Like I need it, So it was hard trying to figure my stuff out, right? And then the longer I stayed sober and the more I practiced the stuff that I learned, like on my day-to-day routine, the easier it got, right? Some dude told me like, don't make AA your life, right? Don't make CA your life. Don't make the 12 steps your life, but make it a lifestyle, right? Yeah. So like, I don't always have to be at meetings, and I don't always have to be talking about 12 step, and I don't always have to be talking about this, that, or the other, right?
Yeah.
Like what I need to do is just shut up and practice. I just need to do the things, right? As long as I'm doing those things, like it becomes real easy not to fuck things up.
Yeah.
And how did the relationship with your parents and your family change after you got sober?
It's been different, bro. Like my relationship with my dad's good, real good. We still fight, you know what I mean? But like that's because like
you work together.
We work together, man. He grew up with that machismo stuff in Mexico. Like he didn't have a dad, right? So like he's done the best that he can up until now, and I love him and respect him, and I'm happy that I took a bunch of stuff from him, right?
Yeah.
But like the way we talk is we yell at each other, and it's not even like we're yelling at each other because we're angry. Like it sounds like that if you didn't know us, right? But like, dude, it's weird. Like that's just how we communicate.
That's funny,
right?
I get it.
And then me and my mom, like my mom, I feel like, and she's told me, she's like, you know what? Because my mom's older. She's like, if I die, she's like, I think I'm finally gonna be okay.
Wow.
Like she's happy. Like she's good. I take care of my mama. My mom lives with me.
Proud of you.
She had a very detrimental health issue come up, man, and she flatlined 3 times, man. She got non-alcoholic cirrhosis of the liver.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Never drank, never smoked, and like she's the one that gets it. So she lives with me now. Make sure she takes her medication. She's fully functional. She does her own thing. I'm just there to like make sure she's okay, right? Like that's why she's with me, because I'm not gonna leave her alone. It's my mama, you know. But I've had cousins reach out to me, bro. Be like, "Hey, man, I'm smoking this shit. I don't know what to do." Right. I've taken family members to meetings, bro.
That's awesome.
I've talked about recovery with family members, right? A bunch of my aunts, bro, I've had to sit down and have talks with because they're like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, look, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, you're not supposed to know what to do, right? Like, wait for that opportunity. And like, when they want it, we'll get it.
And I'm sure just like yourself growing up, man, I mean, they probably don't know a lot about rehabs.
They don't.
Things like that. So you now represent a beacon of hope for like your whole
Right,
family,
man.
you know?
So I like talking about all the messed up aspects of my life.
Yeah.
I enjoy talking about that, right? Like, I love that part. I still have a very, very hard time talking about where my life is at today, man, because my life is so good that I feel like I'm a cocky asshole when I talk about it, man. And that's not what I'm trying to convey,
Yeah.
right? Like, I don't like cocky people, bro. I don't, right? And it's hard. Like, I was cocky all the way up until like a couple years ago. You know what I mean? Like, undeserved, like just, hey, man, like, this is me, you know? So I have a hard time differentiating like the cockiness to like just being confident in what I've done and who I am today, right?
Yeah.
My life today, bro, is right. See, this is why I hate talking about it, because it's so good, man. And I feel like I'm like gloating and just,
It's not.
But
It tells everybody else that everything's achievable.
Yeah,
right?
man.
You know, and no matter what we've done in our past, good and bad, right? You changed anything, you wouldn't be where you're at right this second.
Right.
So,
For sure.
you know, telling people, hey, these are the bad things, but hey, check this out. This is the reward I get for putting in the hard work and being a great father, being a great son, being a great friend. Like, all these things, they pay off if you do them.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's something that you worked for, right? It's different. Like, if that, you know, the job, you know, was handed to you or you know, and stuff like that. But because I'm kind of the same way, you know what I mean? But then I sit there and I think, you know what, like, I'm okay because I have a great, you know, this is the best my life has ever been, right? At this point in my age. But I worked my ass off to get back there. I had to rewire my brain. I had to, you know, change old behaviors and mend relationships and stuff like that, you know, and I did it all myself. Obviously I had some help with other, you know.
right.
But you put in the footwork.
Exactly.
You did it.
So-
Nobody else did.
So I know you've heard this, right?
Uh-huh.
Don't talk about it, be about it, homie.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That program right there, right? Firm believer. Don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah.
If you're talking about it, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
If you show me, I'll be like, all right, you know?
And I think too, man, another important thing is I try and think about this just like Dustin said, man, like, you know, I'm very grateful for the way that my life is right now. But I think when you grow up a certain way, especially in a certain environment, you get PTSD, especially when you have people around you that are negative all the time, dude.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
You know, they're not used to good shit happening to them. They're not used to being happy. So like, they always kind of make you feel like, you know, well, I mean, this shit's not going to last or this isn't going to happen or whatever.
Or you should feel bad for feeling good about
Yeah.
something you accomplished.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
Or like you talk to family and they're in a shitty mood or whatever, 'cause you've been able to pull yourself out or whatever it may be, you know, and they just bring you down.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's important, like Dustin said, like Matt said, like to be able to acknowledge, like, you know what, man, like I did. There's like a fine line, right, with cockiness and arrogance and all that, but being able to be confident, like, you know what, God is good. I don't know what your relationship is with Him now, but it's like God is good, and you know, I'm just happy for where I'm at.
Right. And that is the truth, man. Like, God is good.
And picking, I mean, you can show up, right, to any meetings, any conventions, anywhere you go. You want to pick the winners, right? As like my dad used to say all the time, son, stick with the winners because you'll be a winner. You hang out with douchebags, you're going to be a douchebag, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I think sometimes we get lucky when people come into this
That's
program.
why I'm a douchebag, because I hang out with Matt.
I'm all for it. But it's like we take a step back and we get to look at this and go, you know what? If I would have chose to not reach my hand out and say hello to Johnny and create a friendship, there's a lot of things I'd be missing in my life right now if I
Yeah.
didn't do it. You know what I mean? And it wasn't because we look like winners, because we do look like douchebags. And I choose to look that way because then nothing's expected of you, right?
You want to know why I talked to Matt?
What is that?
We were sitting at a big old table with bunch of all white dudes, dog. Old white dudes, right? That
Smoking cigarettes.
smoking cigars and drinking coffee, right?
North Scottsdale. I mean,
And of all the people there, he was the only one that looked like he didn't play golf, and I was like, "This is my homie now."
That's what's up,
And he does
man.
play golf.
He does play golf.
I try, right?
No, but I it was weird because like that's how I was picking people in the beginning is like who looks like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not like skin, but like who gives off that aura of like there's fucked up ish, like they're still, I'm far from perfect, man, and I will never exude that. Like I don't ever want to put on face and be like, nah, man, like look at me, this is what I do. Like look at how good things are. Look at how, you know what I mean? Like that's not me, bro. Like
Yeah.
I am broken, I am messed up, I am dark. You know what? But like that's okay because even being all those things, I can still do a bunch of good.
Yeah.
But you're also authentic.
Very
You
much.
know what I mean? And through everything that you've experienced, man, you've learned a lot about yourself too. And I think there's a certain like a bullshit filter, right? That we all have. Like you can tell when someone's bullshitting
Yeah.
and when they're being authentic. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And
It's a huge trait quality wise, right? Like
Right.
the one thing for me is I lied so much. And for me, not being honest is such a and for myself, I mean, I don't like people lying to me and things like that. But for me, it goes to the extent of like, I'm a firm believer that if you aren't being honest, bad things are going to happen to you.
But like you said, right? You go to meetings and like if you're like me, man, you do got that bullshit detector, right? Like
Yeah.
you needed it when you were getting high. And I personally, I go to meetings sometimes and I'm just like, man, you full of shit. You know what I mean? Like, which goes right back to like the stick with the winners thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a stick with the winners guy. I'm just gonna do stuff, right? And I'm gonna take a page out of the big book. It says a fellowship will grow about you, right? Like I'm not looking for friends, man. I just got to do what's right
Yeah.
for me. And when I do that, like that attracts people, right? Like that's where my people come into play, where people want to be with me. And then those are the people that become my homies, right? I'm not out there picking and choosing who I want in my life, man. People just come into my life because they're right to be in my life.
absolutely.
I bypass the bullshit detector because I don't need it at that point. Because if people are down, right? Like just like in the street, like if you down, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You down, right? And that's how it is in the rooms too, man. Like you don't have to go out and look for people. It's just like if I do me, the people that are down are gonna show up, right?
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And then if you're down, you show up for those people too, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how it worked out with me. Anyway, I love Matt, bro. I love this guy. So like if he's like, hey man, I need this or that or the other, like no questions asked.
Vice versa. Ditto.
Yeah.
You know,
You know, you don't find that a whole lot.
you don't, man.
You
You know, don't expect to have 20 people in your life that are gonna be like that because that's that's unrealistic, man. You get 3, maybe 4.
Yeah.
That you can actually really count on, and that you can share stuff with them, and they might crack a joke or say whatever because that's all about what we do.
Right.
But they know, and that they want to do anything in their power they can to help you. And if some other motherfucker said that about you, they'd be the first ones to cold clock that dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and that's very hard to find ananymore.
Yeah, no,
because
I
a lot of
agree.
people go, hey, what am I getting out of this situation?
Right.
Yeah.
And want to put, materials or this or that on a friendship.
Right.
When all reality, a friendship is caring and loving somebody more than you care and love yourself.
No, for sure. I mean, it's one of those things too, and it's just a little bit cliche, but I always think about this. They say the people that are in your life are either in your life for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime.
Right.
And I think once you find sobriety, it's like you're opening up your mind for the first time of like real life, how you're supposed to be living your life. So you start realizing and categorizing like this person was in my life for this reason. Think of that guy that you said you met over there at that meeting.
Right, man.
It's like shit. He was from the East Coast, and you happen to run into him at a convention and wherever you were at.
Yeah, here in Arizona, man.
And that's crazy.
And as friendships too, we talk about people are going to let you down.
Yeah.
Right. And guess what? Families family members let us down. I've let down numerous family members. And if we just kick everybody to the curb for maybe,
for being human.
being human,
Yeah.
right? And not understanding, hey, dude, I get it, and move on from that, because there's so many other good qualities about people. And it's most people use that as an excuse because they're not getting anything from that person anymore to be like, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 right? But meaningful, I mean, just like, I'm sure everybody in here has been married except for Dustin. But you got to compromise, and you got to understand that there are disagreements, and you aren't going to see things the same way as the other person all the time, and they don't have to see them the way you see them.
Yeah.
But is that any reason to just kick them to the curb? Absolutely not. So a true friendship, comes with those, rules of engagement.
Right, man.
And hey, I might not like what happened, but it's not a game changer for me.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So I got this it's an older Mexican cat that works with me, right, at the shop. And he's told me this even before I got sober. He'd be like, Johnny, your best friends are gonna be the ones that tell you no. You know what I mean? And those are the friends that I have in my life now, man, is the ones that, like, I'm like, hey man, this is what I'm thinking about doing right now. And like, no hesitation, just like, no.
No yes man.
Yeah. No yes men, dog.
Looks fun, but
I had yes men around my whole life, bro. And now I have people that are like, it's good to be told no, especially to a group of people that are not used to being told no.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you start to think of it different.
Mm-hmm. And this is what I mean by don't talk about it, be about it, right? Like, and I'm gonna go back to why I don't like to talk about myself, because I feel like I'm being cocky, right?
Yeah.
I got sober, right? My partner that helps me with the thing that I do that I'll talk about right now is some cat that I just met, maybe a couple months sober, and I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna go volunteer at this spot, right? It has nothing to do with like AA or recovery or anything like that. It is recovery, but it's like but it's not like a abstinence recovery, right?
say what it is, John.
So it's a needle exchange, right? I shot dope for years, bro.
Yeah.
Right? I never knew needle exchanges were a thing, right? Like, I didn't know. And for whatever reason, somebody I met was talking about it, and I'm like, yo, that's cool. I was like, I wish I could do that. And he's like, well, you can, just come. And I was like, dope. So I met this dude, man. I know him like 2 days, and I was like, yo, I'm going to go do this thing. And he was like, I'll go, right?
And what is a needle exchange?
So a needle exchange it's a program. At the time, it operated under the gray area of the law, right? You come, we give you clean syringes, right? We give you naloxone, which is opiate reversal medication. Okay. You know what I mean? So like if you overdose on opiates, you have naloxone on hand, man, because somebody can give it to you and it'll stop your overdose. It'll bring you back.
Like Narcan.
It is Narcan.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
It is Narcan.
New needles, some meds to help pull you out of that.
Wow.
Yeah, alcohol wipes, tourniquets, clean cottons, clean mixing cups, like clean supplies.
Yeah.
Right.
And they have and medical staff too. Like they'll have nurses on staff. So in the event that you overdose there or whatever, they have professionals there that'll.
So I volunteered with Shot in the Dark for a minute, dude. A minute. I was
what again?
Shot in the Dark.
Wow.
I was the East Side coordinator for a minute, but I did this for so long, right, that eventually I was like, well, man, it'd be nice to like do other stuff too, right? Like we live in Arizona, man. It's hot.
Yeah.
So I started bringing waters, right? We started doing waters with our syringes and stuff. And then COVID hit and people wanted something to do. So I was like, hey man, let's get some money together. We got some donations come in. We went and bought pallets of water, and we were having people go out 7 days a week during COVID, handing out water to, people that were homeless, unhoused, struggling. You know what I mean?
Wow.
That evolved into a community dinner every Friday. That wasn't just for, unhoused people. It was for everybody and anybody in my neighborhood. My neighborhood, again, like I'm in the hood, right?
Yeah.
There are apartment complexes with lower income people there. I'm blessed enough to where I have a house, right?
Yeah.
I pay mortgage on the house, right? But like not everybody else is well off as me, right? Like we're a working class community, dog. Like that's where I live, is a working class community, but it's considered the hood because we're not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do okay. I don't struggle financially. I do better than okay. But like I see my neighbors, man, and like, dude, I don't feel good eating and my neighbors ain't eating.
Yeah.
You know? So this community dinner then evolved into City Mesa put some stupid stuff, laws in place, made it to where I couldn't do it no more. So I was like, well, I can't go to parks and hand food out or drinks out without it being considered illegal. So what do I do next, Ren? I find somebody with a van, we get hooked up, and I'm like, well, cool, man. I can't go to one park and do a dinner every Friday. I'm gonna hit every park now in this van, and we're gonna do it twice a week, right? That evolved into a nonprofit me and my homie put together, man. And all it took was right? All I did was I showed up and did some stuff. And then the people showed up. The homies showed up. The people that helped me put it together showed up, right? I didn't do none of this by myself, man. Not one thing I did by myself. It's just that people saw what was going on and they wanted in, right? I have this nonprofit. It's called Giving Back AZ. We do outreach. We're connected with a bunch of other nonprofits out in the Phoenix area, man. We do a bunch of different stuff, right? Food, clothing, health supplies, hygiene products, anything and everything that we get for free. We get, we're hooked up with Midwest Food Bank, Shot in the Dark, and Sonora Prevention Work still gives us, harm reduction supplies, medical supplies. We still get stuff from all over the place, man, from people, just people, all right? Like everybody wants to help, man, just not everybody knows how. So if you give them an avenue, people take advantage of it, right? Mm-hmm. The actions that I learned in recovery, which is not, it's not about what I say, man. It's about what I do. So I show up for my community, right? Still have this guilt in the back of my head of like what I did to the last community I was in. So what do I do now that I'm sober, man? I work my ass off to make sure that my kids don't grow up in something like that, right? Because that's how I grew up. I grew up in something like that. I want to make sure my neighbors' kids are taken care of. I want to make sure my neighbors are taken care of, right? I'm on the ASU Community Advisory Board in Mesa. Right? I do a bunch of stuff in my community, just all in all, on the streets, man. Boots on the ground. I don't sit behind a desk, right? When I was doing dirt, I was doing it on the ground. So if I'm trying to fix things, I'm trying to do it the same way, right? It makes me a better father, right? My kids know what I do. My kids know what it's like to help people, and they're young. I've taken my kids with me to go do outreach and stuff like that, man, and they get to see, right? Like these people that are struggling, that was me, right? They're not just people you ignore. Yep. My kids see them now, and they see them. They're people. They're not just some homeless dude.
Yeah.
Some homeless lady, right? I struggle with mental health stuff, right? I'm bipolar, bro. And like, I don't see somebody I don't just see somebody crazy on the street no more. I'm like, damn, what kind of help do they need, right? And I've been able to share that perspective with a bunch of other people, man. I have rehab centers come out and help us, right? They get a bunch of stuff together and they want to come out and bring their clients out because people need to see, man, right? I always ask this, like, when was the last time when you pulled up on the off-ramp and there's somebody asking for money that you look dude in the eyes? You don't.
I did this morning.
Whatever, dude.
I did. Just saying.
So, here's the thing, man.
I don't know if he could see me or not, but
because even me, right, that I go out and do this, when I hit that stoplight and I see that dude, even I get uncomfortable looking that dude in the eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know what I do. You know what I mean? I should not feel uncomfortable, but like, bro, I still get uncomfortable. So I want people to see that perspective, that like, yo, die, right? Because I got sober because I don't feel good about myself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's like, yo, man, like these people are struggling. Yep. They're not like they're not horrible people. You know what I mean? That's probably somebody's dad, dude. And I'm a dad. Yeah. And I remember being fucked up.
Yep.
Getting rid of that stigma.
Right, man. Healthcare is underfunded, underserved, right? The lower income communities are underfunded, underserved, man. It's like, I can't wait for the government or the city to do the job of a neighbor.
Yeah.
Because that's what I am, bro. I'm a neighbor. I'm a homie. I'm that fool down the street, right? I have a better chance of helping and doing good in my neighborhood than the city does, than the government does, than the state does, right? So, like, I took a personal responsibility to get sober. Why can't I take a personal responsibility to help my community heal up?
Yep.
I want my kids to be able to walk out and see good, right? Like, I want them to know that their dad tried, you know? And then I want them when they get older, because it's not about what you say, it's about what you do, especially with kids.
Yeah.
I want my kids to grow up and not listen to all the dumb shit I say, because I say, you know, they're my kids, man. I say dumb stuff, man. I make them laugh. I mess around, right?
You're
like
dad. You're a
I'm
dad.
dad,
It's your
bro.
job.
I say dumb stuff, man. But like they see the actions I take.
Oh yeah.
I show up. I take them places. I make sure I spend time with them, and not just like sitting on my phone, bro. Like
Yeah.
I make sure I spend quality time with my kids, right?
Yeah, because we think they don't notice,
Oh yeah,
but they watch everything we do as parents, right?
you know.
You know, there's no slipping.
Yeah.
There's no slipping.
Here's the thing, man. Like, if addiction is genetic, then they run the risk,
Yep.
right?
And they got a good head start right now.
And if I can mitigate the risk by being a decent person,
Yep.
by showing them what it's like to come from a disease to being a happy, healthy, just a person,
Yeah.
right? Then like, bro, like I'm changing those odds a little bit.
Breaking generational curses.
Right.
And I mean, we don't think about this, but I mean, when I was younger, I wanted to emulate my pops, you know, do everything he did. I thought he was the greatest thing on earth, right? Like I just saw how he talked to people, how he treated people, how he talked to, you know, my mom. We shared this. He was on the podcast. Is like,
Yeah.
never got angry. It was like, son, we need to sit down and talk. And I'm like, can't you just punch me in the fucking head? Because this is brutal, you know. And we think about that, and it's like I watched all the time from behind anywhere. I watched those interactions, you know, and we don't think that our actions have that huge ripple effect, right? But it certainly does, especially on those kids when they're sponges and we're trying to lead by example.
Yeah. I know
I
you.
failed forever.
I know your kids, bro.
know you
Your kids are good kids, bro.
But it has nothing to do with what I used to do.
Right.
You know, and it's funny because Bubba's birthday was yesterday and he's on the aircraft carrier out there. So I was getting no reception and I was getting a little bit anxious and stuff. First time I haven't talked to him on his birthday and I was getting a little mad and angry, you know, and so I'm kind of going through like, you know, all the years of taking to get up to him turning 20. And lately I've been battling with beating the shit out of myself mentally over things that happened in the past with the kids.
Yeah.
And yet I can talk to them and they never say one word about it. They always just say, Dad, you're great. And I sit there in my head and I'm like, no,
Right.
I wasn't, you know, but it's like they can kind of see the change. And I've been very different over the past 10, 12 years.
Right.
You know, which has set that kind of into motion.
Yeah.
But and still in my mind, it's like I was the worst parent ever, you know, and yet that's not the reality of it.
Absolutely
I
not.
did the best I could at that given time regarding the circumstances. And like I said, you know, I could say, oh, I'd like to go back and change this or change that, but it wouldn't be what it is today with them, you know.
Right.
My daughter's doing great, married, my son's doing great, you know, and it's like, even though I'm sure they'll have that trauma stuff come up and things or PTSD, you know, later in their life, or if they haven't already gone through it, but at least they know that they don't have to do those things that I did.
Right.
You know, and like Rafi's never seen you.
Yeah, right. You know, my son has never seen. Dude, that is the proudest thing that I can. I will gloat about that all day, bro. You know what I mean? And for most people, that's not like a big deal because most people don't get high. You know what I mean? But like for me to be able to just be like, dude, my son has never seen me fucked up, ever. Like that is like I'm proud of that, you know?
Yeah, as you should be, you know, and we do, and we say, and we promise all these things, you know, and when we're in our active addiction, I promise I'll come home, I'll be there for your birthday, I'll do this.
Oh, yeah, man.
You know, but the one thing is that I know for a fact is that if I say something now, I better be true to my word because you're only as good as your word.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what people judge you off of.
Oh, yeah.
You know, relationships come and go from that. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. All we can do is be the best we can and do what we say we're going to do and mean what we say we're, you know?
Yeah. No, for sure. And I mean, thinking about that too, like hearing you say that, you know, being vulnerable and open about that, you know, I think about like with my kids, I didn't, you know, I love my dad, but he wasn't around as much, you know, and I think there's a lot that I still feel from that. He's in my life and, you know, the void is definitely, there's a little bit of the hole filled there, but there's still that void, you know, but being able to do what you two have done to change your life, not only, You know, does it help fill that void? Because I'm sure you feel like sometimes, you know, that void is still there. But not only does it fill that void because you're still in their life completely, you know, you're in their life as much as is possible, right?
Try to.
But at the same time, too, you're giving your children hope because just like how you said earlier, you didn't even know rehabs existed. They have a living example of two fathers that have been through some crazy shit.
Right.
You know, they've experienced stuff, but the most important part is the fact that you guys have both made it out alive. If they ever run into any types of issues, it's like, shit, my dad's a soldier.
Right.
My dad's a soldier. And I've met your pops before, bro. He's buff. Like, I'm sure you thought of your dad like a superhero, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to take that light out of my baby's eyes,
I
man.
could
You
probably
know?
take him now.
You can take him now.
No, you can't.
I mean, isn't that what fills my heart with joy and like just gives you those weird butterflies knowing that your kid looks at you or kids look at you a certain way and it's not at all what I think they look at me how, right? It's
Yeah.
completely different. You know, it's I could do no wrong and I've done so much wrong, you know, and they don't bat an eye at that shit. And my wife's always like, why are you beating yourself up over that stuff? And I'm like, it's just a big deal. And when I'm sitting there bored or trying to sleep at night, that's what the addiction side likes to do. If
yeah.
Matt's feeling great, it wants Matt to feel like a piece of shit. You know, it's doing those push-ups in the parking lot. In all reality, that's not near the truth
Yeah.
anymore.
I just pulled this up because we're talking about kids, right? I dropped my son off yesterday, man, at his Head Start program. And he did not want me to leave, right? So when I got him, I had a letter written out for me. My son's 4. So the teacher wrote a letter of what he said, what he wanted to send me. And it says, Daddy, I love you, Dad. I really want to stay with you, but I can't because I have to go to school. I love you and I have to go to school and my sister have to go to school. I really love you and I miss you. I really want to go to work with you. I really love you.
That's cool.
Bro, like, I love you. 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 I don't ever stop saying those words to my kids, man. Like, every 5 minutes max. Like, those words come out of my mouth consistently. I didn't hear that a lot,
Yeah.
right? I don't, these kids know. No,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they get tired of hearing me say it. You know what I mean?
Doubt in their mind, man. They love you.
But they say it, dude. They say it all the time. Like it is in almost every sentence that we have.
Yeah.
Just love you, baby. I love you, mija. Te amo. Te quiero. Mi corazón. You know what I mean? My son, he'll out of nowhere he'll just look at me and be like, "Daddy, you're my corazón," and I'm just like,
What does that mean?
"Oh, my heart,"
Oh, okay.
and I'm just like, "Oof." You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it hits, dog. It hits, and I have all these markers that just show me that I'm doing right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not a struggle. It's easy. It flows, man. That's how I know it's good because I'm not fighting it. It's just boom.
Stop swimming upstream.
Yeah, man. It's
Flow
cool.
with life, right?
It's dope, bro. It's dope, and like because you want to know how I know I'm a good dad, man? Because I was a bad dad.
Yeah.
You want to know why I feel like I'm a good person? Because I was a horrible person. Because I know what that is like.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to be a bad dude.
Yeah.
That's how I know I'm a good dude right now. Is because I am the complete opposite of what I was, right? Like life, the program, service work, right, has given me opportunities, experiences,
And it's giving you a purpose.
different perspectives. It's given me a purpose, bro. Like I flew out to Scotland last year. In
Scotland.
Yeah, man. In 30 days, I will be in Scotland again.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you doing out there?
I'm going to go see a homie of mine from the program and go to a convention out there. I spoke
awesome.
at their convention last year.
Wow.
You know what I
What was
mean?
that?
That's awesome.
Yeah. I got asked to go to, I'm a felon, dog. Remember the jail?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm a felon.
Yeah.
Right? In February, I was in Canada, right? Like, bro, they let me into Canada because I'm not that dude no more, right? I got asked to speak at another convention in Canada in May, which I'm gonna do because I can.
That's great.
You know what I mean? Like, bro, life is a trip, bro. I've been able to go to so many places because think of your typical cholo gangbanger from a movie, right? That doesn't leave his zip code.
Friday part 2.
Right.
No more locked doors?
No more locked doors, right? I don't travel, bro. I don't leave my hood. I don't leave a 100-mile radius of where I can pick up my shit.
Yeah.
Okay? Probably 50 miles. To be honest.
Yeah.
Right? Bro, I've traveled halfway across the world in the last 4.5 years, right? I have not been sober that long. Like, in retrospect, I look back and I'm like, bro, it's only been 4.5 years since I stopped picking up,
Wow.
right? But to somebody who's just getting off, who's got a week sober, right? Like, that's a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
In those 4.5 years, bro, God and the world has seen it fit that I get to experience life for the first time, right?
Mhm.
I have been able to travel. I've been able to meet people. I've been able to do things that are supposed to hold me back have never held me back to this day. If anything, have catapulted me forward into doing better, right?
Yeah.
I met somebody the reason I got into Canada is because while I was doing service, this person lives in Canada and is a paralegal, and she helped me get all of my stuff together so that when I hit the border checkpoint, right, the customs, like, I was good.
That's awesome.
I had it done, bro. You know what I mean? I have letters from professionals, doctors, psychiatrists, the people that I went to rehab for, firefighters, right, who wrote me letters of me so that I can show these customs agents and be like, no, man, like, look, this is what other people have to say about me now, right? Like, don't look at the felony. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's there, but this is who I am right now, right? I just got my civil rights back, dog.
That's incredible.
You know what I mean? Like, I was supposed to do 360 community service hours, which I did not do to complete probation. That's why it took almost 5 years, right? Did not do. Only to start my own nonprofit and have put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into my community.
Wow.
Wild, dog.
That's
Wild.
wild.
It is crazy shit.
I have a question. Being from where you came from, where your starting point was, right? I want you to think of the mind state of all the homies that we have back where we were from. The ones that are still stuck in the addiction, still stuck in that cycle, still stuck in that 50-mile radius, 5-mile radius for some people.
Right.
I mean, you already know. What advice, because we always want advice from somebody who's experienced the same shit that we've been through, you know? What advice would you give somebody out there that doesn't even know that a rehab is possible to get started?
Man, if somebody wants to change, don't talk about it, be about it, homie. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It doesn't matter how you do it. It just matters that you do something. It can be small, bro. It can be real small. Could just be talking to somebody and being like, I think I need help. That's it. That's what I did. And out of spite, because I didn't get an answer, I freaked out, got mad, and out of spite was just like, I'm going now. Right? Like, dude, it doesn't matter how.
It just matters that you do it.
It just matters that you do it. Don't talk about it, be about it, man. If you really want to get out, if you're really tired, right? Because, like, let's be honest, man, it's tiring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, it's tiring, bro. That street life, the
It
drug
is.
life.
But so is also, being sober. Putting
Oh.
forth all that effort. That's
Mhm.
Being sober is, dude,
a
whew,
lot of work.
it's work, bro.
But we used to put in our work to get the dope, right?
Mhm.
I used to remember the dope guy would call me and go, hey, yeah, I'll be there in like 20 minutes. I'd sit in that parking lot for 12 hours because he kept calling saying I'd be there for 20 minutes. How dedicated is that? Like, just
Yeah.
be dedicated to doing something productive and good. And guess what? You don't need somebody seeing you do it either.
Oh, no.
The best type of feeling I get is when I do something, nobody else around sees it or knows, but I do. And that's all I care anymore.
Yeah.
That's it. Right?
That-
Tailor-made suit. Make your program tailor-made. It doesn't have to be strictly AA. It doesn't have to be NA. It doesn't have to be Buddhas. It doesn't have to be Johnnies. But I can take things from all kinds of people who I see are doing great things and make my own suit and me wear it.
Yeah.
Right? And me do what I'm supposed to do. And me helping other people. I don't go to meetings and things like that, but I do have my hand out and help anybody and everybody who asks for it. I am kind and compassionate and loyal, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's true, man. Absolutely. Because look, I'll be completely honest. A lot of people can't do what I do, right? So I can't be like, look, this is what you have to do and lay out my program of action out there, right? I can't do that.
Yeah.
The reason why I get away with doing what I do, man, like, I'm bipolar. I have an excess amount of energy, bro, that I do not know what to do with sometimes. So, like, bro, again, right? The thing that's supposed to be holding me back, dude, it doesn't. if anything, it just catapults me forward. That's why I can do so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, again, bro, like not everybody can do that because not everybody's built like me. It's like what Matt said is hitting the nail on the head, man. You have to tailor make your suit, right?
That's it.
Recovery is not like, if it's not done this way, you're going to hell. Yeah, that's not how this works, bro.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Everybody's different, man.
Yeah, everybody's completely different. I want to give you a chance to throw out your shop and your nonprofit again, before we close up. But
So I have a body shop, bro. So all of this stuff that I talk about, traveling, speaking, doing nonprofit work, meeting with professionals, right? Having friends that are medical professionals. I have no education in any of this.
Yeah.
So like, if you're listening to me and you're like, oh, well, it's because this fool went to school, or like this fool has been doing this for a long time, right? Like, bro, I got working hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I got arthritis in my knuckles. I work in the heat all day, and when it's cold, I work in the cold. I don't work in an office, bro. I work outside on cars, and God still saw it fit that I have this stuff in my life, right?
So what's the name of that shop?
Shop is Riverside Auto Body and Paint
Riverside.
in Mesa, right? Represent, homies.
You got websites and everything?
No website, man.
No?
I've never done, just like everything else in life, bro. I've never done any advertisement of any type.
No
man.
Facebook page, nada?
I have a Facebook page that I rarely use, all right? Like, it's barely use it, man. But like,
Great work.
Just like the program, though, it's attraction, not promotion, bro.
Hey, that's what's up. We'll make sure to throw that in
a lot
the
of
note.
stuff his way, and I send everybody I know his way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
All right.
So,
And then the nonprofit is Giving Back AZ. That does have a website because I'm not in charge of any of that stuff. So,
Okay, there you go.
GivingBackAZ.net. We have an Instagram. We have a Facebook. Like, we're constantly posting stuff on so people can see what we're doing, right?
Okay.
We don't rest on our laurels in my neighborhood, dog. We put in work, like, and we stay consistent. Like, that's something I didn't have in life, is consistency. So I want to put that out into my community so my community knows. Bam, you know, and life is good, dog.
That's awesome, man. Dude, it has been an honor to have everyone in here today, man. But thank you for coming and sharing that testimony, brother. For real, like, I mean, it's I constantly think whenever we're doing this, like, there's times during the episodes where I'm just like, man, this is amazing. Like, I'm so grateful to be a part of
Ronnie,
this.
we appreciate you showing up, buddy. Love
thank
you, kid.
you guys, man.
Keep up the good work, dude. Passing stuff along. I love the nonprofit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's great. And I can't thank you enough. I know you drove down, had the kids, and it takes time away from you and the kids, but I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. It's all, and that says a lot about your character. You got your babies with you, bro. That's cool.
I got you. I told them last night, I'm like, hey, I'm going to take you guys out of school early tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, yeah. I was like,
That's cool.
I don't think they know a 2-hour drive.
Yeah,
right.
I didn't tell them that part.
That's funny, man. Well, thank you so much, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our homeboy, Johnny. Hey, man, if you're cool, I heard Matt calling you Mexican Johnny. You mind if I title it Mexican Johnny for the episode?
Johnny it is.
I like that, brother. I like it. Hey, man, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the ARCast. Once again, if you would like to be on the ARCast, hit us up. Our email is thearcast6944@gmail.com, THEARCAST6944@gmail.com. All the show notes are going to be in the episode. If you guys want to check out the Thunderbird or whatever we got, we're going to put that in there. But as always, much love. Thank you, Dustin, for coming through too, brother. Yeah, much love and God bless you guys. Peace.
Thank you, Buddha. Thank you.
What's going on, everybody? This is Buddha from the ARCast, and I just wanted to thank you for checking out this week's episode. It means a lot, and if you could share it with a friend or a loved one, somebody you need in recovery, or maybe somebody who just needs that little bit of extra positivity in their life, we'd greatly appreciate it. If you would like to join us here on the ARCast, either in the studio live or online, hit us up. The links are down in the show notes of this episode, and on there, you can find direct links to our main website here at Americas Rehab Campus and all of our social media platforms. Follow us. We keep the post positive and motivational, focused on recovery, health, and wellness. As you know, in this modern day and age, we need as much love as possible, y'all. And as always, if you or somebody you know is in need of substance abuse treatment, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We're open 24 hours a day, and our direct phone number is 1-833-272-7342. Once again, that phone number is 1-833-272-7342. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day. Much love and God bless. Peace.